On social media, she was the picture-perfect mother. Dr. Marcia Edwards, a renowned physician, often posted photos globe-trotting with her beautiful children, toasting her summer, even celebrating her son Chris and daughter Erin on Instagram, boasting, I'm a quoter, "I could not ask for better children." But little did anyone know, this would be the last image she would share. Just a week after this post, she shot and killed her own children and then turned a gun on herself in a murder-suicide that would leave the country in shock and those close to the family crippled with grief. What made this Insta mom snap? And did anyone know about her dark and evil side? Today, in an exclusive interview, we have answers from sources that are closest to the case. We're also investigating the theories circulating online and the clues she may have left behind in the images she shared with the world. Here to help break this story down is prosecutor and host of Oxygen's Injustice with Nancy Grace, Nancy Grace. She's been covering this case from the beginning. Nancy, this is not the first time we've heard of a horrific story where a mother takes her children's lives and then kills herself. But something about this family is very different.
Oh, Oz, it's different from every other mother murdering their children that I've ever encountered. And I'll tell you why. I'm sure you remember the case of Andrea Yates, who killed her 5 children, okay? Yes. Susan Smith, who wanted a new boyfriend, drove her boys into a lake in a seatbelt. Those are much younger children, okay? Arguments of postpartum depression, all sorts of factors. You don't see that here. This woman, highly educated, filthy rich. Now, she had gotten a divorce from the husband, who was also a doctor, but she wasn't hurting, Oz. I went and looked at the scene. It's in a place called Vinings, Georgia. So beautiful car, beautiful home, clothes, education. They were living the high life.
So what do you know about Marcia Edwards from at least her Instagram posts? I mean, she did posts from all over the world, and she did have adult children.
These children were adult. Unlike all the other mothers that kill their children, they're usually small children.
That's right.
In this case, you look at her postings, beautifully done, I mean, perfect, all up in the local government like that with the mayor and the mayor's office. Very influential in Atlanta society. So it looked very, let me just say perfect. It looked perfect. And then this is quite the dichotomy. So
Marcia was married, as you pointed out, to a prominent Atlanta surgeon. His name was Dr. Christopher Edwards. They were divorced 5 years before this happened.
Board of trustees at a university.
What do we know about that divorce? Does it offer us a clue about what might have been going on in Marcia's
head? Well, I know this. Nobody will say anything. All I know is that she's in this multi-million-dollar townhome and her children are moving on. He, the boy, Chris, well, he's a man. He was a man then, is developing his own career. The daughter was going to BU. Everybody was leaving, moving on with their lives.
Can you go back to the husband for a second?
Oh, yes.
Where is she? He hasn't been around much. He was at the memorial service.
You know what's really odd about that? He is the one that got cops to the home. Now, I go back and forth between Atlanta, which is near my home, of Macon, Georgia. That's where I prosecuted. I know the city like the back of my hand. He wasn't 30, 40 minutes away, but he called police to do a welfare check on the son.
Has he released a statement? Any explanation?
No. And another thing, it was a closed casket funeral. Now, that may be common everywhere else, but in the South, no. You have an open casket because we all want to go up to the casket and kiss the body and touch the body and say goodbye to the body. So it was a closed casket funeral, and no one is saying anything. Search the web. After this day after this happened, everything goes radio silent.
So help us with some theories. What might be happening? And obviously, we have to get into the possibility of the ex-husband, but...
Well, you always look at the husband, boyfriend, lover, ex first. There was no signs of forced entry. This has been deemed to be a murder-suicide with the mother gunning down her 2 adult children, although one's in college. The other one just got out of college. They're, in their early 20s. To me, they're just still kids.
So you do believe that she pulled the trigger?
I do believe that's what the scene appeared to show. Now, from what I'm understanding from a source within the police department, they believe, this is aside from ballistics, like a trajectory path. Like if I came up to Oz from behind, he's looking at his computer, and I just come up right to him, let's just pretend, and I shoot him just like this. There's no way he could have done that himself. There's no physical way he could do that. So the trajectory of the path would probably be back to front, up to down. See, you can tell that was a murder. A suicide would be like this, or like this, or like this. But I do know the way the bodies were found shows to the police that it was suicide and double murder.
Any clues that if she was holding the gun, she would have a reason to do this? What would have driven her to kill two beautiful kids? She was just posting about how they were the perfect children.
Perfect. And you know, it just came over me that I'm constantly talking about my twins. You know, I ambushed you in the hall to show Lucy playing volleyball.
Good player, by the way.
And that seemed to be her life. Now, think about this. After the divorce, she left the practice. She started her own thing. I think it failed. Because you look at the earnings, it's about 200 grand gross profit-ish. And then what happened to that? Her children, she's no longer packing them to get them off to school in the mornings. They're gone. They're not just gone. They're about to enter the workforce. Really gone.
There are a lot of moms who have to deal with the empty nest. Most of them don't go shooting their kids and themselves. Something went wrong here.
Now, Oz, let me ask you a question. This had to be premeditated. It's not like she snapped. Now, I know you're a medical doctor, and I'm just a trial lawyer. But there's no such thing in our body of jurisprudence that's just snapped. That's a show on Oxygen, okay, my TV home. That's not a real legal defense. There's no such thing as, oh, I snapped. No. She had to get the gun, either purchase it or locate it. Yeah. Load it. Creep up on them. There's no sign of a real fight, as I understand it. Hold it up and pull the trigger. Under the law, premeditation can be formed in the twinkling of an eye. Much less that amount of time. Plus, she had to get them together under the same roof.
Yes, that's
okay.
They weren't together anymore.
No, they weren't together anymore. So how do you get them all together and then this happened? This had to be planned by at least that afternoon.
Coming up, an exclusive interview with one of Chris's closest friends who was with him just days before he was brutally murdered. What really happened leading up to that fateful day? Today, the murder-suicide mystery that shocked the nation. We're asking the question, what drove this Insta-perfect mother to seemingly snap and shoot her own adult children, Aaron and Chris, and then turn the gun on herself? I'm back with Nancy Grace, and joining me now in a daytime exclusive interview is Chris's close friend, Emmanuel. I thank you for being here, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you for having me.
How would you describe your friend, Chris?
Well, I would say he's very warm and very loving. Never met anyone he didn't know, and if he found someone he didn't know, he always introduced himself. He was always so nice and outgoing. I met him at Yale University my freshman year. He's a year older than me.
So just a few days before he was murdered, brutally murdered, apparently by his mom, you were with him at a baseball game.
Yes, sir.
Any inkling that there was a problem that you could sense?
Not from what I could see.
How did it affect you when only a few days later you learned that your friend was dead?
It honestly shocked me. I was driving, so I was interning in Atlanta with a newspaper there, and I was driving to work that day. Pulled over my car, started crying a little bit, and then I went home, couldn't go to work. So it's been a rough 2 weeks for sure.
You met his mother several times.
Yeah, I met her twice.
Describe her to me. Anything suspicious about her behavior?
Not from what I could see. We were involved in the National Association by Journalists Conference for 2 years. I met her once in Detroit and once in Miami. And both times I met her, she seemed level-headed. I mean, she went to the conference to support Chris and what he was trying to do. So from what I could see, she didn't have any problems.
Let's talk about that Miami conference for a second. That was just a few weeks before she murdered her son. And yet, if I understand from what you're saying, she took her son there to advance his career.
Yeah, I mean, he paid for himself, but she definitely wanted to come to support him.
But why would a mother support her son in a future endeavor when she knows she's going to kill him? Why would she accompany him to Miami, go through the whole charade of trying to get him to advance his career when she knows she's going to murder the
I see a
child.
difference between her advancing his career and her going along and then seeing, oh my goodness, all these potential jobs. He's going to move to Seattle. He's going to move to Alaska. He's going to move here or there. And that slowly sink in.
Did Chris talk much about his dad? That's an issue that Nancy and I have been struggling with a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really talk much about his family to me personally. But from what I could tell, and from what Chris told me, he said that he was raised to be a hard worker and that both his parents were involved in his life. So,
Was the dad going to remarry?
Dad, I don't know.
Girlfriend?
Nah, I'm not sure about that.
How do you want people to remember Chris's legacy?
I was talking to this like a few of my friends this past week. He was such a good guy. He loved everyone he was around. He loved people that he didn't even know. So I want people to remember Chris as a loving person, a hard worker, someone who will do anything for anyone.
I'm sorry for your loss, and thank you for coming and talking about him.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to ask about the warning signs. Were there clues hidden in the pictures that she posted online? What was Mom thinking? Find out next. We're back investigating one of the most horrific crimes making headlines around the country. Dr. Marsha Edwards seemed to be living the perfect life, on social media anyway. But just days after posting this photo and boasting, "I could not ask for better children," she shot and killed them both. And then she turned the gun on herself. What made her snap? And were there any clues hiding in her photos that we missed? We're back with the host of Oxygen's Injustice with Nancy Grace, and I want to bring in psychiatrist Dr. Judith Joseph. So Dr. Joseph, clinically speaking, describe what's going on in the mind of a woman who would take the lives of her children. What's going on in their psyche?
Well, first of all, this is just unspeakable and tragic. And typically in cases of filicide, where you kill your own child, there's something very extreme happening. It could be an extreme mental illness, an extreme medical illness, or something that is like bankruptcy or financial crisis, something that's very extreme, causing an emotional stress. And it's quite possible that this doctor was self-medicating. We know that doctors have access to prescription medications, and she could have been self-medicating an extreme depression with alcohol and prescription drugs.
But why kill herself after killing her children? What's the benefit of that?
So from what we know about Dr. Edwards, she truly lived and breathed for her kids. And maybe she believed that they lived and breathed for her too. And it's quite possible that the thought of killing herself and leaving them in this world alone was just too painful for her. Perhaps she thought that she was being merciful by taking them along with her and sparing them the pain of living in this world without their mother.
So Dr. Joseph, this woman, Dr. Edwards, Marsha Edwards, took the Hippocratic Oath as you and I did, right? An oath to do no harm to anybody. Obviously, it's meant for our patients, but it also applies to our family. So do you believe this was premeditated? Or did something just go boom, wrong within 3 minutes of this all happening, and the rest is history?
So in my clinical practice, when people who are professionals, who are public figures, do something unspeakable, there's something extreme happening, be it a crisis, a shame, something that's about to come out. And they do this out of desperation. So if she truly did this, I believe it was out of desperation. There's something that we don't know.
Why, I'm back to where I started. Why did the husband, divorced 5 years, call for a security check on a home 30 minutes away? Why? The son lived there. Why? What was the issue? Why did he think police needed to go into that gated home? What did he know?
So even if police believe, and you do now because you've talked to folks on the inside, that she was holding a gun, Marsha Edwards was holding the gun.
What it looked like when they first got there.
You believe he knows something that might have explained the motivation?
Yeah, maybe to what the doctor is saying, like some event. Did she find out he had a girlfriend? Did she find out he was going to get married? Did they just sign some divorce papers? What? Something that pushed her over the edge.
Filicide is so rare and disturbing. There's something happening that we just don't know about.
Look, the social media posts are another clue. And you're, as a psychiatrist, could look at them and maybe see more than I can appreciate or the audience can. What do you think about those posts where she's saying, they're the best, my life completed through them, look how fantastic this is or that is? What do those posts mean to you?
We're all guilty of posting the good and not the bad. However, if you want to take a closer look at this case, towards the end, she's posting all of these kind of grand trips, bucket list trips you take towards the end of your life. You get them off the list. Also, there's a change in tone. She
You
says
just
something.
gave me chills down my whole self.
Well, I mean, this is a chilling case.
A bucket list.
Yeah, there's a specific post, the final one. I couldn't have asked for better kids. And you know, another red flag, she got very emotional towards the end. And sometimes it's okay to be emotional online, but when you see a lot of emotional posting, it could be a sign that there's a problem.
Social media is linked to mental health issues. At least some studies have shown that. And the depression can be covered because
Correct.
you're just competing with all the other good vibes out there, not telling your truth about what you're going through. So I understand that what we were saying on Instagram wasn't the honest truth. Doesn't seem to have been. There are lots of questions, but the real issue is justice for the family. So as someone who's in that space, what would justice mean for this family? What has
Well,
to
I
happen?
think the same thing that everybody's feeling right now. I want to know the truth. I'm not a family member, but imagine the family, how they feel. Why? Why did this happen? I always look for why. I never had that burden in court to show a motive. But the jury wants it. I want it. And I think the only justice, the only peace anybody's going to have until we know what happened. It's so much more than just a trajectory path. It's so much more than just looking at a Facebook post and trying to figure out what happened and guess. We have to know the truth.
So we're going to post these pictures on the Dr. Oz Facebook group page. If you think you know anything about this case, head to droz.com/crimehunters. You're going to find the contact info for the Cobb County Police Department. And someone, thank you very much for offering your insights. Dr. Josephs, as always, wonderful and brilliant. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new videos to live the good life.